And that's one of the reasons, friends, that Prince of Peace emphasizes the idea of relationships and accompaniment. Because the reality is there's tons of ways for us to give, right? To give our financial resources, to give our time. And it's a good thing to be trying to relieve the hurt and suffering in each part of the body. But if we only view others in terms of how we can help them, and we don't think about how they help us, then to be honest, I'm afraid that we're treating them like the appendix. We don't want them to hurt, but we're also maybe not recognizing their value. We're not recognizing their contributions to Christ's work in the world. We're essentially saying, okay, here's some medicine or some surgery or whatever to make your pain go away, but we're quick to cut you off and throw you out once we're done, because we don't really understand your value as children of God, and we don't understand the gifts that you bring to the body. And so we emphasize relationship and mutuality. And so if some of you wonder sometimes why we invest the time and the money to send people to Haiti from our congregation, that's why. It's because anyone who has gone to Haiti will tell you that what we take and learn from Haiti is much greater than what Haiti gets from us. The Haitian understanding of community and perseverance and the way that God sustains and provides is something that we can all learn from. And those are generalizations that are just the tip of the iceberg. I encourage you, like for real, to ask somebody who has done a trip to Haiti what they've learned and what they've gained from that experience. Ask them over coffee, because the answer might take a while. And the same is true for our members' time in the Holy Land. When you're in the Holy Land, it's a powerful experience to see the places where Jesus and Mary and David walked. Those are the steps where Jesus walked. And I'm taking it very seriously, as you can tell. The truth is, I'm a nerd, and I'm a church nerd, and I love ancient churches, and I love ancient stones, but to me, the most powerful aspect of these trips is interacting with the living stones. It's interacting with the people that make up the family of God in that area. And so when I was there a few weeks ago, I was able to join some of our partners in worship at the Lutheran Church of the Redeemer in Jerusalem. The prayer was in English and Arabic. And when it was time for the Lord's Prayer, each person said the prayer in the language of their heart, and it did not matter if our vocabulary was the same or if some of us ended the prayer at a different time than others. It didn't matter that some of us said debts and other trespasses and sins, and some said the equivalent in Arabic or German or whatever. What mattered is that we were together, that we were praising the living God with the words that were closest to our hearts. Frankly, it felt like Pentecost. We made up different parts of the body, and our differences didn't need to be hidden or squashed down, but in the presence of God, they could be embraced and celebrated. And so the church in the Holy Land gave to me the gift of diversity and of unity. And they also teach me about perseverance and resilience, because life is hard for Christians in the Holy Land. Many of them, most of them, are Arab and Palestinian, and they lack political power, and they lack resources, and they suffer under corrupt governmental systems. Their physical movement, even a couple of miles down the road, is limited by walls and checkpoints and passports and residency cards. But even as the number of Christians in the Holy Land diminishes due to these challenges, still the community of God perseveres. Still they have and proclaim faith in a liberating and loving God. I was able to witness an example of this electronically because the following Sunday, the Arabic, English, and German-speaking congregations at the Lutheran Church of the Redeemer gathered together as one body at the Jordan for a baptism. This is Pastor Carey baptizing young Emery. They've shared their experience on Facebook, and as with any baptism photo, I think they're beautiful. Baptisms are like my favorite thing ever. But my favorite part of this is the next photo. Because as you see Pastor Carey and baby Emery, and you look between them, you'll notice that on the other side of the river, there's a group of people. And that's because the River Jordan marks the international boundary between Israel on the West Bank and Jordan on the other side. Theoretically, if you didn't mind the consequences, you could wade across the river and be in another country. And so the Jordan physically separates nations, but here it also brings them together, because that group of people on the other side of the river, those people are also members of the Lutheran Church. And frankly, it would have been really easy for them to say, sorry, we won't be celebrating Emery's baptism with you because there's too much that separates us. It's just too hard. Citizenship, and in some cases, different languages and cultures and things like, national borders. But they didn't. Instead, they gathered as best as they were able to celebrate the death and resurrection we experience in our baptism, to celebrate the death and resurrection of Christ. They found a way to overcome barriers and differences in citizenship and join with another group of Christians together in one faith, in one body. And this faith and persistence and ability to work towards unity, even through these barriers, is a gift that I know I can learn from. Despite physical and cultural separation, they are indeed one body, and we with them. So the church in Haiti, the church in the Holy Land, the Spanish-speaking church, the AME church, the Catholic church, all of these are parts of the body of Christ, just as we are. And each of us, each group of Christians, has their own gifts, and I thank God for that. And I thank God for each of you and the gifts that you bring. Because like the human body, we work together as the body of Christ, not because of our uniformity. If all the human body was made up of were hands, it would be weird and dysfunctional. But we work together because of our differences. And as Christians, the God who loves everyone equally, the God who sees the value in all people, calls us to understand that all parts of the body are important. All parts are necessary. Both the eyes and the appendix have gifts to give. No one is vestigial in the eyes of God. God has made a world full of all different shapes and sizes and languages and ethnicities and orientations and abilities and gifts. And these differences are to be celebrated. And so today I end my sermon with a question, more than one, and a challenge. What are the parts of the body of Christ, here in our congregation, in Loveland, in our nation, and in the world, that you just don't know much about, or that you might even view as somehow less than? What are the gifts that you are missing out on? And what gifts do you have to share with others that you might be holding back because you wonder if they're enough? Ask yourself these questions. Ask them driving home today. Ask them of yourself throughout the week. And then the challenge is this. I challenge each of you and myself to find a way to share a gift that you might be keeping to yourself with our community, and also to reach out. Reach out to somebody who is different from you, whatever that means. See them as a crucial part of God's creation, and remind them that they are valued not because of the things they do, and not even because of the gifts they bring, but because we are all equally beloved by a God whose love has no limits, whose love never ends. And then allow them to give that gift to you as well. Amen.